everybody, and welcome back to Men's Day Out, India's only portal that covers gender stories but from the other side. Joining with me today is Amit Deshpande from Vastav Foundation in Mumbai. He needs no introduction. He's been in the men's rights space for a very, very long time now. And he's joining me today because we are actually shocked with a recent Delhi High Court order which has come in a couple of days ago, where the judge has actually upheld lifelong maintenance to a wife who is not divorced and who is living in adultery with another man. So, Amit, what were your first thoughts when you read this headline and then when you read the entire order? What were your first thoughts on this?
The first thing that came to my mind, after seeing that whole judgment, is that the absurdity that has been initiated long ago is continuing. I mean, we are going down the slippery slope where nothing is anything. Nothing is hindered now, and these kind of nonsensical judgments are just continuing. This exposes the complete anti-men mindset of the judicial system itself. And this law, it nowhere says that there has to be, what kind of adultery is going to be there. Living in adultery is living in adultery. And the judge comes across and says that, okay, occasional adultery is fine. Now, what is occasional? It is such a subjective word to use. I mean, frankly speaking, it is high time that India, as a responsible, civilized country, should have judicial accountability bill, because every other judge sees his one law in his own way, interprets in his own way, and comes across with absurd judgments every now and then. I mean, probably they come out based upon the judge's moods also. I mean, one feminist was telling me that, oh, it is being done because generally it is the husbands come across and tell that they charge with women on adultery, so to safeguard women, such women, and to enhance women empowerment, this is being done just to safeguard. I mean, but is this even an excuse? I mean, it exposes them so badly that in no way they come across as rational or gender neutral, or even for the sake of women empowerment. I don't think so. This makes a very good case. I mean, nothing else could be more absurd than asking a man to keep paying maintenance to his wife, who is proven to be living in adultery with somebody else. And firstly, in India, judges don't accept only flimsy charges of adultery. For a man, it's extremely difficult to prove that his wife is living in adultery with somebody, because they need photographic or videographic evidence in compromising position with the paramour. Only then they will consider it, and that too, these days, it is of no use for a man to go ahead and pursue such a thing, because earlier, at least 497 was there, the paramour was charged of criminalization, of a criminal section. But now that has also been decriminalized. So the woman was never having any fear that adultery is a crime for her and a criminal charge will be put against her. That was not there ever. The paramour also had been taken off the hook. Now, if a man sees that his wife is doing adultery, there is nothing that he can do. I mean, he can just pray that she doesn't ask for maintenance. That's it. That is the situation already that men were. And now, even if one particular man, he might have some evidence, it's of no use. What is occasional adultery? 2 times, 10 times, 100 times? It is such a subjective matter. It is not quantified, and it is actually very bad. It comes out very bad on the judicial system itself. It's not about men or women.
No, and let us narrow down to this particular case, because if you read the order in detail, it is not even about occasional adultery. The woman has been, they have been separated since a long time, since many, many years. And there have been multiple cases filed by the woman against the husband. He has also been acquitted from his 498 charges. And the son of the parties has gone on record to say that his mother has been living with this other man. He's given the address, he's even named the person. Despite all of this, if the judge still says that this is occasional and maybe this is like a one-off affair, then how do you really expect a husband? And as you rightly said, I mean, unless there is absolute evidence of photographic or videographic act that the husband can get hold of, even in those cases, Amit, let me tell you, there was a recent order from Punjab and Haryana High Court where they said that a man recording his wife's conversation with another man is infringement to her privacy.
Privacy, right?
So, what
Right.
on earth are husbands supposed to do? Are they just supposed to sit like puppets and, just be like ATM funding their wife, irrespective of what she wants to do? And mind you, this again, the way the whole case is being twisted in media. And I was hearing a few debates yesterday, which were one was yours on Mirror Now, and then there was another one which was happening. One thing which came across shockingly is the anchors have not even gone through the order or the judgment. So, in most cases, they are presuming that the divorce has already happened, the parties are living separately, and therefore the woman has a right to, live her life the way she wants. Contrary to that, I mean, if you read the details of the order, there is no divorce between the parties yet. And fair enough, if you're still trying to justify that, okay, she's still the legally wedded wife of the man who deserves to get maintenance. I mean, how on earth can you justify, a woman staying with another man, and just because she refuses to divorce, the husband is supposed to keep paying her for the rest of her life? So I think that exposes this whole loophole in section 125 CRPC, which is created only and only to shield women, and despite any situations or any kind of wrongdoings by them, they are still entitled to maintenance for the rest of their life. So what are your thoughts on section 125 CRPC, especially right now where home ministry is looking at amending our IPC and CRPC? Do you really think it's time that they look at these draconian laws?
One thing is CRPC 125. It is completely anti-male law, as anti-male as a law can be. It is right up there. CRPC 125's main purpose was to avoid destitution and vagrancy of people who are dependent upon a man. I mean, it was laid down in that way because this law was made when like 2 generations ago for us, and now things have changed a lot. But then this law, feminists have never touched it. They want to make changes in all the other laws, but not this one. A man is supposed to give maintenance for sustenance, okay, so that destitution and vagrancy will be avoided for his parents, his children, his wife, whoever files a case against him. And the limit was put to be 500 rupees earlier. I mean, this I'm talking about 1960s, 70s, which was like 500 rupees was justified at that point of time. Now, instead of understanding why this law was, the law, I mean, there was an amendment saying that, oh, this is very pathetic amount of maintenance, so there is no limit on maintenance now. But then still the main thing, the core of this law was that it is to avoid destitution. But in spite of that, we have seen that women come across and file these cases and they get maintenance also. So there are multiple laws where a woman can get maintenance, and this is to avoid destitution. That is lost on the courts, that is lost on the feminists also. Nobody bothers about it. That why this law is that, and since I mean, why would they bother? Because feminists, if they are getting money, then they will just go ahead and seek it.
It suits
At
them.
least
Why
the
would they raise a voice on this? It suits them.
yeah, they will never raise a voice on this. We have had so many cases wherein daughters have abandoned their parents. They are, old age parents. Now, CRPC 125 could have been helpful for that, correct? But then that has not been amended. Maintenance of Senior Citizens Act has come in, at that where it has been made gender neutral, wherein parents can seek maintenance from daughters. But that is also completely underutilized. It is not promoted as much as to milk a man, as we could call it. Those laws, how they are promoted, this is never highlighted that way. There are so many cases wherein boys, teenage boys, have been abandoned by their single mothers because the boy is objecting to something, okay. And it is like we have seen that fatherlessness brings a lot of complications in the raising of a boys. We have had cases where teenage boys are on the streets, they are out and they have no support and they don't have a law If CRPC 125 was there, just like a father could have been sued to give maintenance and sustenance, at least the boy would have been not on the road. These things could have been done, and this is the need of the hour. It is not like we are planning something so that what feminists call as changing the social order and social reality and all that stuff. But these are immediate things that society needs. Instead of doing this, now what this law is coming up and saying is that we will not bother about these sections 125, subsection 4 or subsection 5. We will just go ahead and say that occasional adultery is allowed. So what? How do you define a family? How do you say that what is a family? And criminalization of women's adultery is not there. The boyfriend has been taken off the hook. Now you are saying that it is legal for her to go ahead and do some occasional adultery. But at the same time, when we are talking about gender equality, what is given to men? A man, if he has an extramarital affair, or even if he is perceived to have an extramarital affair by the woman, then she can go ahead and file a domestic violence act, wherein immediately her reliefs gets started. Like she can get maintenance every month, she can get these restriction orders, residential orders, all sorts of reliefs are given to women on perceived domestic violence, also perceived extramarital affair also.
I'll stop you there. January 2022, Madras High Court has sentenced a man to jail for 6 months because his wife said he's having an affair. And though adultery is decriminalized, he was, that whole thing was put under mental cruelty, and the husband was sent to jail for 6 months. That was
Right.
not an occasional affair. Maybe the judge knew some more details in that case. So, how fair is this?
It is not fair, and it is blatant. It is screaming that this is not fair. And they don't even care. The judicial system, the whole society doesn't care if there is unfairness, because we have been injected with all this poison about how women have, for generations and ages, they have been, suppressed, or whatever stories they make up, which is fault. I mean, which is wrong. I can talk about that as well, about how this perception is wrong, but then probably it could make a different discussion altogether and we could digress. Just in short, I would say that the traditional roles which were there, they were always in balance. We cannot think about saying that, oh, 1,000 years ago, people were less intelligent than us and they were all suppressing, they were all evil. And so we are going to be good and we are going to change things. It is not that. As women were getting protection, they were being caretakers. The moment since World War II, suddenly we have found that, okay, women can be used as labor. All these things have come out. Women have been given the choice to be the caretakers or the protectors, and that is where things have changed. Demonizing men of the past is not a solution to give enhance empowerment to women, and that too just unjustified in unfair means.
And look at the irony, Amit, because you know what the law says, and I'm sure it's different in all other countries because we have a habit of always comparing what the West does, and when it suits us, we say, oh, already so many countries have adopted, so why not us? Now, I think India is the only country in the world which kind of chains a man for the rest of his life and ensures that he is going to support his wife financially, even if a marriage has lasted for one single day. So technically, there is no divorce. The man cannot move on in his life. The woman is now legally entitled to maintenance, not just for her, but even maybe supporting her lover.
Right.
So, I mean, this is absolutely absurd in 2022. And I think, in a way, this order has also exposed a lot of people yesterday because I was closely hearing to a lot of feminists who were trying to, kind of justify this, saying this is a pro woman order. In fact, Mirror now has actually put up an article, and the headline says Delhi High Court's pro woman order, awarding her maintenance and not disentitling her from maintenance despite living in adultery. So in a way, I would, okay, I also read that there were people who were trying to say, they were trying to look at the quantum. So they said, okay, in this case the man is earning 2.5 lakh per month and the court has only ordered him 15,000 per month, so what is the problem? Why shouldn't he just pay? Now, whether it is a matter of quantum or whether it is a matter of principle, even if it is 1 rupee, why should a man be expected to pay a woman where the relationship is completely broken down, but you're not allowing him an exit, but you're making him accountable financially for the woman who is living with another man. So in a way, I think it totally exposed a lot of people yesterday who were trying to come out and support justifying this absurd order. There was also a lady, I don't know if you saw on one of the debates, she was an elderly Supreme Court lawyer. And she says, oh, but the parties are anyways staying separately. So the marriage is anyways dead. So it is her private life. How can it be adultery? So, madam, if it is her private life and if she is, wise enough to choose another partner while the marriage has not been dissolved, why should the husband be made liable to pay financially? So,
Their
do you
mindset.
have a message for these people, Amit?
Yeah. No, these people have always been like this. I was also talking about one more judgment in my previous show on Mirror Now only about last month or so. I had spoken about a order wherein the parties had divorced. Okay, both had married each their own, they had their second marriages. After 18 years of divorce, the husband of the wife, no, he died. I mean, her second husband died. So she put a CRPC 125 case in the court saying that now I have nobody to support me. So my first husband should be asked to give me maintenance. This husband had married again. He had two children grown up. They were in their teens. And he was getting an order to maintain his previous wife. I mean, the divorce is over 18 years ago, and now he is asked to pay maintenance. That is the level of absurdity which is allowed. This was there about 10 years ago, and this is still continuing. These feminists have never come across and said that this is unfair. They claim to be gender neutral, and which, as you rightly said, it is exposed that they are not gender neutral in any way. I have my reservations about their gender activism also. I mean, they have come across, they have come short of being gender activists when they have had a political ideology in the conflict with the gender. But in any case, not going into that, CRPC 125 needs to be revoked completely. I mean, there is no point in this particular law going on when we have a domestic violence act already, which is copy paste for everything when you take out the destitution and vagrancy condition out. So it should go off. But I have no hopes from the government that it will go off, because you had asked this question about this government. There is no government that is going to do anything on this front. I mean, I am extremely cynical based upon what progress we have seen. Uh, this government is coming across and saying that they are going to give more and more freebies to women. I mean, one political party comes and says that we'll give 1,000 rupees to women to sit at home, and so another comes with saying that they will do 3,000 rupees. So this is not going to end soon because they have seen this as a vote bank. And however false or right it could be, but eventually this is going to affect men, and it is getting worse and worse by the day. The only thing that men should be doing is that they need to educate themselves. As far as I see, this judgment will not be applicable to every other case that comes across. One big bad notion that spreads in our society is that women or many people, they see that okay, this judgment is there, and they think that this will be applicable in their case. Many a times the lawyers also misguide them, but this need not be the case. In this particular case, the woman had lied about her job. Perjury case was filed. She had admitted in cross examination saying that she had lied. Still, relief was awarded to her. So it is a mockery of the justice system itself. The judge who knows that she has lied in front of him and still gives her relief, he is only insulting himself and the judicial system. That is what is the first thing. Then, with respect to the children in this particular case, the children were found to be abused by the mother, so they were taken off from her. I mean, given to the father and grandfather and so on. But still, this thing was not considered when the CRPC 125 case had come in to stop this order, stop this maintenance, because she was the child, the son came and said that yeah, he was a witness in this particular case, but
But
still the
in
order.
fact, if you have read, the judge has also gone on record on the same order, and he says that even where cruelty by wife has been proven, alimony has been given. So he is trying to justify that whatever the case may be, whether the woman is cruel, whether she's living in adultery, 125 CRPC entitles her to lifelong maintenance. So I think the judge has clearly justified his order very, very
Yeah.
well, why he has awarded this maintenance to the woman.
Yeah, and then there is one more case just which recently has come in, wherein the judge has accepted that a wife going and bothering the seniors of the husband in her office, if she's going and making a drama and tamasha and defaming him, that is supposed to be mental cruelty. But in spite of that, that judge has awarded a alimony of 20 lakh from the husband to the wife.
Yes,
So
it's a Punjab
what is
and
the
Haryana High
whole
Court.
point? Yeah.
20 years separation. Again, Amit, 20 years separation. Parties have separated since 20 years. The judge has gone on record. He's quoted that the wife was hell bent on spoiling reputation and career of the husband in those last 20 years that they were fighting. Despite that, as you rightly said, he has awarded her 20 lakh alimony. So, what is the point? Why should men really even go to court? I mean, just fix alimony on day one. What is the point of having these decades and decades of cases? And anyways, in the end, he has to pay. So I think the government should just come up with a system and say, okay, you have decided to separate, this is the fixed calculation, and just pay and end it. What is the point in dragging these cases?
Frankly speaking, there is a lot of industry that runs behind these matrimonial cases, and the more ambiguity is there, the more complications are there, they benefit. I mean, there were traditional industries of the lawyers, the media, even the police, although it is cannot be called a legally an official in industry, but the bribing and a lot of things used to happen, and these are open. Everybody knows about this. Now, related to matrimonial cases, there are psychologists, tarot readers, and astrologers. That is also a huge industry coming up, and everybody has interest in this industry. And there is only one source of money that comes out, and it is the husband. To husbands, I would say, the men who are fighting such cases, they need not lose hope. What they need to do is that they need to drill down what is the merit and demerits of their case. How to fight it out is that the only the weapon that they have is patience and having knowledge. They need to arm themselves with knowledge, how to fight, and the patience. These are the only two things that can see men through. And there are so many men, activists, semi-activists, we could say, who have trumped through all these cases. But unfortunately, it is just 1% of the whole crowd. So it's very annoying, to say in a very mild manner. It's actually frustrating to see that men are not getting any kind of support from any quarters. It's up to the the groups like us. I mean, you're doing a very great job of bringing this to light, to come up and highlight as much as we can about all these cases. But then men should see about their own particular case and then fight, not just go by the media's headlines also, because this media's headline also is wrong. The case is under CRPC 125, section subsection 5, because the maintenance order has already been given, and it is about cancellation of order. But they have been going around the town saying that it is about adultery and 125(4) only, while this is got perjury also. This has got so many other factors on this particular case. So I don't have any hopes from the whole system. Everybody is the same. Even if there is a government change, people are not going to change. Uh, we will have to try and highlight as much as possible these injustices that are happening on men.
And I
That's
think we need to blame the men also equally, because as I say, every man is a feminist until he lands up at a police station. So until then he will keep saying women don't have rights. The day he ends up in a police station, he gets absolute clarity what is his defense as a man. So I think somewhere men need to be balanced and not just do social media activism. They need to understand what the laws are, and they need to raise their voice. I think the next generation is now kind of waking up, because they have been brought up with girls who are having as much as equal opportunities as they have grown up as men. So despite that, if you still try to drill in their head that women are oppressed and women don't have laws, I think they can see through this whole farce. And as you rightly said, awareness is the only key to educate people. And I guess it's bad luck for the men of this generation, because they have to sacrifice for a better generation.
I mean, even if it is going to benefit the next generation, the whole sacrifice and the effort is worth it. But what we are seeing is, I mean, at least in 2010 when I started, adultery was adultery. Now it is decriminalized. I mean, I had seen a case wherein a man, he knew that his wife is having adulterous relationship, and he got certain evidences, and at least he was able to put some fear that she will be exposed. And then there was I mean, they were able to sort their issues out. Now it has become worse, wherein uh, as I said, 497 decriminalized, and now occasional adultery is being allowed. So these things are getting worse. Men will have to equip themselves with knowledge only. That's the only way out. And as you said, I am really hopeful about the new generation coming because they are more knowledgeable and they are more understanding. In many of cases, they see that women have better opportunities, better treatment in their schools and colleges. They see that the girls,
Privileges, no,
they
not
are,
better treatment, privileges. I mean, you
yeah,
are on par with each other, still you're giving privileges to girls.
correct. I mean, there are cases wherein I have seen when I have gone to some schools in my nieces annual day functions and all, the boys are treated like they are walked around, while the girls are on the stage in front of thousand people. The boys are mocked, but the same guy, and it was a PT teacher, he will not go ahead and have the gumption to mock a girl. In fact, he will always only praise them and all. Boys see these subtle changes. The way it is being treated. When we were young, we were only having complaint that boys are given physical punishment while girls are not. But now it has graduated. These boys are seeing that there is a lot more difference in the way that they are treated. What we used to say that men are treated as second-class citizens, we came to these courts and all, and then we have realized it. But then these boys are realizing it far earlier. I am hopeful that they will be not falling in these traps as much as the earlier generation had fallen, in spite of the bad laws and everything. But I can just hope. I don't know what will happen of this generation.
I think the end result will be we'll be only left with an aging population because most men would kind of shy away from getting married because there's nothing for a man to get married today. I mean, no companionship. The woman can just leave. If you say you're marrying for children, again, it's doubtful if the woman leaves, she'll leave with the children. So, and then you end up paying for her and her paramour. So, I mean, what really do
Yeah,
you have in marriage today?
yeah. Not only the children, but also the paramour now. And what you said is rightly about this that men, there is nothing for them in this thing. Uh, but one thing what I have come across, I mean, there is a theory about this also. There is a lot of attack on the family system. Men are just coming in the way. Men just get out of the way. If they are not focusing on family, then they are left alone. But the whole idea is to attack the family system, and this is what it comes across after the judgment also. What do they want? I mean, what would the family mean when the wife is allowed to go out and sleep with another man or even get him at home? What will the husband do in that particular case? So the attack is on the family system. Men need to be careful. They need to be aware what they want, what they are getting into, and how to come out.
Absolutely. And we were really hopeful from the present government because there was some kind of hope that there would be a balance that would be brought in. But if you closely observe, Amit, the graphics which are even put out from the PMO handle or the official government handles, whenever it talks about family, most of the times you see the father is missing from that graphic. So the other day there was a graphic about a woman teaching her son, about some work. It was some graphic. It clearly said it's about a family, but the father was missing from the graphic. So yeah, it is attacking the family system. I don't know where we are heading, but as long as, see, I think men are still okay. I mean, don't get married. But if you are going to burden them to support a broken family system without any exit, I think that is where the problem lies in.
And also about the judicial system, it has collapsed. I mean, every Supreme Court justice, after he retires, he goes out and says, "Oh, if we don't do anything, then the system will collapse, will collapse." And one Supreme Court judge, after retirement, he also wept, in the press conference and all. But then, I mean, this is the most absurd thing. The person with the most power in this whole country to bring in any change, they come out and then they talk about all this. They need to fix things. Okay. And the second thing about government and all this government, this prime minister is called as the most feminist prime minister by leftists themselves in their articles. Okay, and as I said, this is an electoral compulsion or whatever outlook they have. They have lost their way in terms of what their ideology could be about supporting the family, culture, or whatever it is. Yeah.
In fact, they were
Uh,
better in the opposition, because when Congress was coming up with these absurd laws, I think they were, BJP was the one who was really doing well in opposition, opposing 498A, opposing, several bias laws. But now,
Actually, I'll tell
we
you,
are at a loss of, there is no
I
opposition.
remember one thing. There was, if you're aware of this, there was one law, Hindu Marriage Act Amendment Law for 2010, which was being brought. There is a very famous thing called, we used to call it as IRBM law. It was irretrievable
Yes.
breakdown of marriage. So it was being brought because one home minister at that time, his daughter was going through a going through a divorce for a long duration, and to finish her divorce, they thought about this. Oh, it's been such a long time. 3 years have gone and nothing is happening. So we should bring in a law wherein divorces can be made quick. And they
And
brought in this.
50%
Yeah.
assets
So
would start.
initially, it was proposed that the divorces should happen quickly. Men's rights activists were, hopeful that something will be better. Things will improve. But then the law was amended and amended because even BJP had opposed the initial law, saying that it is too soft for the men. It is not harsh enough for men to award maintenance and alimony to women. So the last law, after multiple amendments, what it was saying that is that upon a marriage, the woman can go ahead and file a case saying that this marriage has broken down. Okay, she only has to show that there has been a separation of 3 years, and then she will get a right over the wealth, the whatever property wealth the husband has got, whatever he has earned, 50% of his wealth, whatever he has earned after the marriage, because the justification was given that, oh, she has helped him in subsistence, to progress and all, so she should get 50% of whatever he has earned after the marriage. Then the next amendment came in saying that she should also get 50% of whatever he has earned before the marriage.
Yes,
Then the
inherited
last thing
property.
was whatever he's inherited, that also, he's supposed to give an inheritable. It means that if a husband has not got his inheritance from his parents, they might just go ahead and donate it. But today he is supposed to pay 50% to his wife. That was the absurd law which was brought. And I am not hopeful, as I said, because this law was brought by UPA and NDA was also supporting them on this. It was only because of men's rights activists, because of which this law stopped. Otherwise, it was also through from the cabinet meetings. Okay, MRS had gone outside Prime Minister's residence, and we had done these dharnas and all. But a change of regime is not going to change anything. That is my bottom line in this. The whole thing is, it is seen as a political compulsion. The solution is not going to come by politicians. It will come by men themselves. They will have to come out and openly talk about it. We have been 10 years. It's been like more than 10 years for me. We've been saying this again and again, and we have seen progress. In a lot of cases, we have seen progress. Like 498A, the Arnesh Kumar judgment. It's made a huge world of difference. But then, of course, the enemy is far too big and far too organized. They change their tactics of attacks. Now, molestation and rape cases are filed lock, stock,
And
barrel
then
on
the
the.
new one, which possibly could be passed, is the marital rape law, which is again, the way the whole word has been framed. So, we are kind of put on a back foot, saying that we are the ones who are, supporting the rapists or the husbands who want to rape their wives.
Yeah,
But, unfortunately, the common man, once again, he's not realizing that, it is a law which is going to criminalize sex within marriage, which is only and only going to rest upon the testimony of the wife. So, I think as a woman, I can say God bless all the men who are still in this illusion of, thinking that men are patriarchal and women need more and more laws. So I think, it's just that when it comes on to you, you realize how stringent the laws are against you.
that's right.
So, anyways, on that note, Amit, I think let's continue what we are doing. That is to create awareness in whatever forums and whichever platforms that we can. And we shall follow this up in case this matter goes to Supreme Court, and we shall look forward to if there is any amendment on this Delhi High Court order.
I really hope that the person goes to Supreme Court, because otherwise, this might not be applicable to other cases. But then the perception that is going out, that is the problem. The perception, a lot of women come across and say that, oh, I had thought that I'll get maintenance immediately, but after 3 years, now even not a single penny has come across, because that is how the system works. That lawyers will be able to misguide a lot of women, showing this judgment, which is not going to be applicable on any, on every other case. So this perception war is where we need to come across more strongly, is what I feel, and that is where is our next battle. That's it.
Absolutely. So thank you for joining me, Amit, on a Saturday evening. I'll not hold you back too long,
Thanks
and
for
we'll chat again soon on this. Thank you. Thanks a lot for joining.
thanks for having me here, and best of luck to you. You've been doing really well. Thank you. Proud of you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.